Hello.
We are two as one.
Talking about why do couples argue. This is part 3 of 10, and in this one we're going to talk about respecting differences in values and beliefs. And this is something that every relationship is basically a multicultural relationship. Even if you grew up as neighbors next to each other, because every family does things differently, right? So some people they have dinner together as a family every single night. Other families, like, everybody goes to their room and they have their own dinner there, right? And when those two people come together, it's there's going to be some differences in how they do things. Maybe you really enjoy eating dinner by yourself in your own bedroom, and I'm going, where are you going? What the heck?
Especially when you have the candles, everything set up for a nice dinner and says, hey, sayonara,
Hey.
I'm in my room. Watch a movie.
Right. Yeah. Uh, so it's important to recognize these things. And also, I always think that it's a good idea to question the way that you were raised, not as in you got to be critical, but what are the things that I am just taking for granted, as opposed to what are the things that I really think is important for me in my life moving forward and in the life that I want to create and design for myself. I'm all about, we are all creators of our own life, right?
Definitely, it's important to dig a little bit and you pass has you as a couple, right? Learn from your loved one. How was the interaction in the family? What are the values? We are totally different, as you can see.
And yet so alike.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, you grew up in Ecuador, I grew up in Denmark, and here we are. So, obviously, very different cultures, a lot of things, although the weather in Quito and Palma is
Pretty much the same.
surprisingly
Yeah.
very similar.
Yeah.
So, other than that, but you grew up in a shoebox with a big family. I grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment on top of the world with a beautiful view. I was up in the treetops. It was just my mom and I, and so very different.
Absolutely. And I was I had a really happy childhood, and the mountains were my
Playground.
playground. Yes, it was beautiful.
Yeah. So that part of being curious about where your partner is coming from, because that's how you became who you are. And and I always, always, maybe that's probably why, another reason why I became a therapist. I grew up with when my mother's cousin would come over to visit. I was named after her. Her name was Karin, and it was my mom's favorite cousin, so she named me Karin. And whenever they were together, I would always ask her, "It's like, tell me about the old days." And they would tell me stories from when they were children, and I was just always curious, because that whole part of this is what made you who you are. And my mom's background, my father died when I was little, so I didn't get to know much about him, but this is part of me, right? And so your family and how you grew up and your siblings and all of those things, all the silly things you guys did, and this is what you're bringing here, right? And how you connect.
And be honest with your loved one, and that gonna provide a better understanding of where are you coming from, right? There's certain things that you may had experienced in your past, and at some point that gonna reflect in your relationship. So just the fact that you partner know where are you coming from gonna help in the relationship in the future.
Yes, I think some things, and now that I'm thinking about it, that I bring into my life and relationship and how I raised my son is, growing up in the time that I did in the 70s, 80s in Denmark. We didn't have TV 24/7. It was in the evening only, and we'd have one TV in the house, even though it was just two of us, but it was in the living room. So that's how I've always done it. One TV in the house, no TV in my son's room. It's like, nope, I didn't want that. And the part of, and really, the weather was oftentimes where you didn't want to be outside because it was windy and rainy and ugh. So so that part of, the candlelight, and especially for me, the Danish Christmas. I always celebrate Danish Christmas, so make the æbleskiver and do the Danish Christmas tree and all those kinds of things. So there are different things that, from my cultural background and my family background, that I bring to into my life and in our life together.
It's beautiful when you can share uh, stuff like that. I believe the problem becomes when you try to impose to the other, to your loved one, the things that, as a background, your culture, your religion, and such. Um, me as a Christian, and I can try to show you some things, but it's better if you can see how I act, the things that I do, in order to drag you every Sunday to the church and try to impose things that gonna create a rejection
Yeah.
in your partner. That's important to respect.
Yeah, and that is definitely, you got to know what your values are, and for me, respect is way up there. That's my top value. So, um, you don't have to like me, but you do have to respect me, and vice versa. I don't have to like you, but I will always respect you, and that is that's a requirement to be in my world.
Definitely. And as a make your differences get a stronger relationship. Use that as something that you can use as a tool to make your relationship unique.
Yeah, yeah, and because so the thing about finding shared meaning in because you spend a lot of time being outdoors in nature, and I love being outside in nature, and the things that are natural, and spending time together is another, I think, another thing that we find meaning in traveling and learning things together, right? And having new experiences, being curious. I think those are a lot of the shared meanings that we have from our background, and also being both people who've moved to another country, and it makes a big difference. So we have that understanding of what it's like to go to another culture and immerse yourself.
Right.
Yeah, I did that twice. So because I started out here, when my dad died, my mother, who was Danish, she decided to go back to Denmark, not because she really wanted to, but she did. And so when I was 6, I had to learn a new culture, language, everything. And then when I was 21, I decided, you know what, I need to check out this America thing, and then bought a one-way ticket, grabbed my suitcase, and here I am. I'm still here. So to this day, 35 years later, or however
Wow.
long. Yeah, 35 years later.
That's a long time ago.
I'm not old enough to have lived here for 35 years, plus the 21 years in Denmark, and wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So, yeah, let look at what are some of the strengths that from the other, and maybe some things that whether you get some areas that you don't necessarily like for yourself, maybe gain some support. Maybe there's some things that I don't like about my background that maybe I can learn from you, and vice versa, right?
We you just learn about the Ecuadorian KKK. You'll see here.
Right. Oh yeah. That was very interesting because your brother and sister-in-law came to visit, and that was their gift to me. It's like, what is this?
You see,
What is it?
you always can learn something else.
Always.
It's a religious thing that we in Ecuador is a huge tradition that we do. That
Easter.
Easter, yes.
Yeah.
It's
What does that mean?
There's a lot of people on the streets. They try to recreate this crucifixion when Jesus went through from the Roman. Mm, uh, base through the Golgotha, where he got was the crucifixion. So we tried to recreate that, and it's a lot of people. It's a huge thing in Ecuador.
Yeah, you showed me the video of the people in the purple robes, KKK robes. Like, oh wow, that they really do that. It's not the same as over here in the U.S.
Yeah,
and,
no.
And then the other
Not
men, the men who have bare chests and they had the whips with this.
The ginormous chains.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Yeah, I never been part of that. I respect that. It's a huge part of my culture, apparently.
Apparently. Well, I do not participate. yeah. But yeah, so just some fun things about you know favorite childhood memories and other memories that weren't so fun, and share those stories because
share, learn, and grow from that.
Yeah.
Nurture the relationship.
Yeah. It lets you. It deepens the relationship again when you can share those kinds of stories, and you get to know little quirks about your partner, and they can be inside jokes that you have, and
right.
yeah. So respect, of course. Let's say you have different religions or political beliefs or whatever. Be respectful of the fact that you have. Maybe it's something that if they're very big differences and you don't see eye to eye, that you just have to agree to disagree and maybe not bring it up. And of course, there's some things like with religion, and you have children, then you have to figure out what to do. And but as always, respect is top of the line.
Yep. Love and respect.
And be curious.
Same level. Yep.
Yes. Always curious. Yes. Because curiosity is very different than being judgmental.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, let us know what makes your relationship unique, the things, the difference that you have. How do you share? How do you do in the holidays? The fun stuff that you have.
Yeah. And challenges. And it's always fun. We'd love to hear from you. Also, know that I have a 6-week mindset challenge for you that's available now. The link is down below. So take advantage of that. We need the mindset for every part of our life. And there's some really cool things. A lot of them might seem like, the things that people always say, but these are all foundational steps to developing a strong mindset. And at the very end, the very last exercise is that piece that gets you to where you can manifest the life that you want. It's what I did in order to manifest this amazing man here, which has been the most amazing part of my life, other than raising my son and doing all of that. But to be able to go through this part of life and manifesting the perfect partner is amazing.
Yeah, we are so lucky to have each other. We manifested. Was faster, quicker for myself. That was a gift from God. I believe he saw my need and says, I need to do quick before this.
This poor man.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens in a perfect timing. Yeah, that was pretty.
And that is really the whole reason why we do this podcast, have this channel, because we are here really to help you develop the best life that you can. And that's why we're here. That's why we're providing all this information. It's what I do when I work with people, individuals and couples. And so we're here to spread the love and help you find the love for yourself and in your relationship, whether you're in one now or you're looking for your soulmate. This is the mindset challenge is one step towards that.
Definitely.
So there you go.
You need to. The change starts with you.
Yep.
That's the beginning.
It's an inside job.
It is.
And with that, go out and shine your beautiful inner light, and we will see you next time. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Thank you.
All right.